Hello everyone, I'm going to explain a process very important in playing the flute. It's called tone. Tone is defined as the way notes are projected. Sometimes very low notes and very high notes can be difficult to project. But with these 4 steps, you'll have good tone in no time. And tone is also very important for producing beautiful sounds or music when playing the flute. So the first step involves having a good posture. The second step involves breathing correctly and setting the right embouchure. The third step involves directing your airstream the right way. And the fourth and final step involves changing your airspeeds at the right time. So first, I'll take you through these 4 steps, and then I'll use picture as a good example of the correct way your embouchure should appear. So the first step involves accomplishing good posture. Before you even breathe to play a note, you must be sitting with your body facing forward and on the front half of your chair. Your feet must be flat on the ground. Feet have to be positioned this way because if your legs are crossed, it can hinder with breathing, and musicians generally like to tap their feet to keep time. This would obviously be impossible if your legs are crossed. You must be also sitting as tall as possible with your chest out and your shoulders back and down. Your flute should be positioned slightly in front of your right shoulder and a little bit below, being parallel with your right shoulder. And usually slumping is pretty easy for any musician to do. It's also the culprit to bad breathing or bad notes or out of tune notes. And beginners also have a tendency to attempt to rest their chin on their left shoulder or somewhere near it. This can lead to bad embouchure. So you should try to avoid these 2 mistakes. The second step involves breathing correctly and having the correct embouchure. Embouchure is defined as the way your instrument and mouth are positioned together to produce sound correctly. Your embouchure can be done by placing the line in the middle of your lips and the center of the mouthpiece, and then you will roll down until the hole is facing the ceiling or facing upward. It's very important that you attempt to sustain this embouchure the entire time. Your lips should form a circular or oval type shape. Your first breath also determines your first note or your first musical phrase. So you should try to breathe on beat 4 so that you can play on beat 1, and your first breath should be very deep. It's important that you try to conserve your air. Just try not to use it in the first few measures or first few notes. So that would be all for that step. The third step involves directing your airstream correctly. When you blow air, it should blow directly across the hole. It shouldn't go in the hole or above it. If the air does go directly in the hole, it will only produce a whispering sound. And also try to not blow too hard. This will cause loud squeaking noises. Just attempt to relax your embouchure and blow air directly across the hole in a steady, straight line. The fourth and final step involves changing your airspeed at the correct time. When you play lower notes, your airspeed should be slower but at a steady rate. And when you play higher notes, your airspeed should be at a faster speed but still at a steady rate. Be careful, again, not to overblow, as this will only cause loud squeaking noises. When playing a song, you must be able to change your airspeed from slow to fast in order to accomplish these low notes or high notes within a certain amount of time. A perfect example of correct airstream would be this picture. As you can see, the hole is centered in the very center of her lips, and her bottom lip is not taking too much room. With this embouchure, you should be able to blow air directly across the hole. With this embouchure, good tone is possible. So to conclude, accomplishing good tone takes 4 steps. The first step involves having good posture. The second step involves breathing correctly and setting the right embouchure. The third step involves directing your airstream correctly. And the fourth and final step involves changing your airspeed at the right times. When these 4 steps are completed, good tone should come naturally and with ease. Good tone often gets much appraisal at many band contests or any contest. It's generally noticed and applauded.